to the end of 2028, meaning any expenditures that you have spent since 2024 that would be in line with these arts and culture initiatives that are part of the regional plan, which I will touch base with Susie about to make sure that see things that align, that hit those priorities. Essentially package those in together to one big project, and then potentially you would be eligible for 20% reimbursement on future funds spent between now and 2028. So that would be 20% of that total, whatever you make it. So if there are projects like the community center had an updated infrastructure recently, the idea that using that as a community arts asset along the lines of these priorities might make you eligible for this grant opportunity. This is a little bit different from what Ready or the IUDC usually does. So also programs are part of that. If you have events or have had events that you want to tie into this, I think that's a potential as well. So this money comes from the Lilly Endowment through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. So if we can put forward a competitive application in that process, that's the goal. Whether or not it makes the most sense for the towns to apply for those funds themselves or for one Marshall County to put together a large project is something that let's keep having a conversation to determine what strategy is best. But I think the more hooks we throw out in the water, the better our chances. And then the Lilly Gift 9 and the Rural Health Grant are big initiatives as well. One of the things that was raised by one of the county council members was just the importance of healthcare and the gap in rural areas, and that's a big priority. So now with this Make Indiana Healthy Again granting initiative from the state, there's about $250 million on the table for priority health projects. There's a board that was put together, a committee to kind of start doing the pre-work on that, but just as a town, something to keep in mind, what are those gaps in terms of healthcare for you? What are those resources that you want to try and fill the needs for? And obviously, you know, we're all in Marshall County kind of up the hill as far as that goes because we don't have access to some of the critical healthcare that we would like within a reasonable driving distance. So that is that from me. Just wanted to again thank you for your support with One Marshall County. Happy to be back down here. I really love coming down the main drive. I always think about what different projects we can fund in the future for urban because it has so much potential, and I would love to give you free money as much as is possible.
And I will say, that was one of the things when I got on board 2 years ago, was kind of up in the air with One Marshall, with the communities, because everybody thought they were against everybody else. And everybody has a voice. I mean, everybody has a voice.
Yeah, I think sometimes tediously so, and that's why it's often hard to say, well, what have we done? Well, we wanted to make sure everybody had a voice at the table, and so it's taken us a year to come to this point, have a strategic plan. Now we can start moving forward with initiatives. Another important thing to know is people thought we give money. We don't. We're trying to get that money for everybody.
For everybody, yeah. And that's why they want to bring the communities together to help with the grants that makes it more probable of getting those grants. So.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
today.
you.
Absolutely.
Next on new business is emergency contingency plan update. This is a yearly update that we need to vote on. Obviously, we got to go through it before maybe we're quite ready this year. But it was a good learning experience. I'll make sure I'll agree to that. So, I just need a motion here. Go ahead and accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept our new updated contingency plan.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed?
Yes, and I think that I'll take a moment to thank you all for what you did during that. That was pretty miraculous mess.
26. Can I change this?
Yeah, just scratch that initially.
Anything else? Yes, thank you everybody that was involved. be honest with you, when I first got the call, I'm like, well, how long is this gonna be going? But we had water back to the town for 3 hours. I think about by the time, the fire department, police department, the town employees, everybody grouped together, worked together. I think from the time that the initial phone call came in till we actually started getting water going back into the community, it was about 3 hours. So that's
And even on a Sunday.
Yep. So thank you.
We got good people.
Report from department heads, Kimber.
Approval of claims 8213 to 8301, $276,994.20.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims 8213 through 8301 for the amount of $276,994.20.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Annual,
The annual report has been completed and has been given to Jonah for review. Jonah reviewed it as well as Lacey in my office, and it will be advertised tomorrow in the pilot, and then will be uploaded to the state's website for that. So that was all the financials for 2025. Also, all of our insurance claims has now been finalized once the bell tower was completed here a couple of weeks ago. So we are finally done with that. Yeah, thank goodness, right? Also, I wanted to ask, I have received an invoice from the Marshall County Economic Development Corporation and just wanted to know how you want to proceed with that.
for the full year.
That's what the bill
I
is
didn't
for.
think that's what we had discussed.
But we discussed on the quarterly.
Quarterly upon,
We always pay it quarterly, but they invoice us for the whole year.
quarterly upon the investment. I think it's the way we
Yeah,
do
we
it.
did, if they were doing, then we would. I kind of take that same stance as what we had previously.
So what do you wanna do?
In the past, we do a quarter, the first quarter
In
of the year.
years past, when we were getting definitely some assistance from them, it's a $10,000 request that they asked for, and we would pay $2,500 every quarter.
Correct.
I believe last year we only paid one of the quarters, because
think-
at that point we
Didn't-
didn't feel that.
Didn't we budget this under housing and improvements for the community so that if we needed this funds for
We didn't make a specific line item for them this year. And like you said, we grouped it together under, housing and things like that in case we were going to utilize an engineering firm or, contracted service to help with the housing.
Did you enter into any kind of agreement with them that said you were going to pay this year? Okay.
No, they just like sending me the bill every other week. So,
What's your take?
I'm on the fence with it, honestly. I think we can utilize those funds in other areas to improve the community and keep it in the community, but I also understand that they are assisting in certain areas that we may not know of yet. So I'm kind of on the fence on it, to be honest with you. My opinion is we wait till March and see, in my opinion, we wait till March and see what this quarter looks like. The quarter's not over until March.
I can go along with that. You wanna make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion that we table it and revisit it in March.
I'll second that motion.
that's all I have.
Oh, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. In favor. Police Sergeant?
You have our reports, some of the reports. Activity sheet.
How's everything going?
Really good. FX1 is back.
Nice.
We did get good news on that, I believe. Instead of the short block replacement before, we got the long block replacement for it. So we got more parts.
Good.
It's completely replaced and it runs great.
Another
Good.
5 years?
That is not unheard.
No, I meant another 5 years out of the squad.
Oh, no. It's running great.
That's good.
The new car was going to go back in because it was making a funny noise in the back. That noise had gone away. I believe it was making ice in there. So that kind of been held off until we hear that noise again.
Okay. When do we think we're going to be comfortable enough with FX1 to get in and get a decal?
I have an appointment for that next Tuesday.
Manning's good.
Yeah, we have one going through the Reserve Academy right now. William Schetzel, our reserve, he's going through the academy. Other than that, everything's great.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Thank you. Roger Terry?
Yeah, activity reports. That's all I have.
Got enough salt for the rest of the year?
Yes, I do. Get ready to order more. I got a work contracted through the state with the salt, so I have so much I have to take anyway.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yes.
I did have one business person ask me about the snow when it gets up on the sidewalk.
It's been the responsibility of the.
Well, I know that, but their question was brought to me about with having the new parking situation that we have. Is that something that should be addressed at night for the plowing? And it wasn't me. It was another business person that come to me about it.
Dressed at night for the cloud. Oh, when we.
To clear the street.
Clear the parking spaces, because
Yeah.
technically the street's 331.
Correct,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
331.
I know Harmony hires their
They
own,
hires their
to
own,
come
and the bank
in and
hires
do-
their own.
and the bank hires
Right.
their own.
We try to get that when we can. That's what I'm saying.
I just,
Yeah,
that's what I
I
meant.
get it, but yeah, we try to get that when we can.
well, that's kind of how I explained it.
Yeah,
I just
thank
want to
you.
make sure I was explaining it the way you would. That answered my question. I didn't tell him, I didn't tell him right.
Okay. Steve Walsh?
I've got a couple of quotes that I want to address to you guys. First one is the water tower maintenance. Last year we got a new water tower inspector, Dixon Engineering, and they put a list, and you guys have the list in front of you as far as some of the key points that we can try and get done this year without draining the tower.
You had your window.
No.
You had your
No,
window.
no.
It's there.
But I don't know if you want me to go through all the lists, but a lot of them are just safety concerns and item violations that could potentially happen. Grand total is $58,000 for all this, and then we put in a little contingency of $7,000, so this is $65,000 for tower maintenance for this year. And a lot of it, like I said, just get it back up to compliance as far as through item and OSHA and all that stuff.
When was the last time anything was done with this tower?
They've just been cleaning and inspecting as
Yeah.
long as I've been here, so I don't think no physical work.
It technically was supposed to be painted, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And that, at that point, that's when we were building the new water plant.
Right.
The operator in charge at that time asked that they did not do that until, the tower was,
The new
or
plant
the
was
new
on.
plant was completed. And then our contract ran out, and unfortunately that person didn't keep up with that. And so kind of the ball got dropped definitely on that aspect of it, but they had done cleaning pretty much yearly when we had a contract with them at that point. It should have been painted here 2 years ago, and it was not.
Which we still aren't painting it. We're just prepping it.
We're prepping for paints.
We're doing the first stage, because if you're not going to be able to weld, that'll be the second stage, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and there's a few points that aren't on this list that can't be done till the tower's drained. So, because you can't weld onto a wet tank, so.
Correct.
Is there anything that you're concerned about the,
I think most of this is good. I will check on my grounding rod again.
Okay.
So, and if it doesn't meet our expectation, then I won't do it, so.
are you happy with everything that you're proposing for this year, or is there something there that we really need to do that you just kinda wasn't concerned?
No, I'm extremely happy with all this stuff. I think it's good and it's progress for the tower down the road. For the new tower is $1 million, so we need to keep this one running good, so.
I'm assuming this is in the water budget to be able, we can handle it.
Yes, Steve and I talked about that at the
Quite a
end of
bit.
last year, so we are prepared for that to be paid for this year.
I would make a motion that we go ahead and allow Steve to go forward with this proposal to get our water tower up where it needs to be.
At what amount?
At the amount that he has proposed here, the 65,000.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
The second one is, as you guys know, we have an irrigation rig at the wastewater facility. Last year we got our irrigation rig running and applying effluent on our field,
Which helps with what?
it helps with the amount of discharge per month. So I think October I released 7.5 million gallons, and typically we can only do maybe 2 through our discharge from the creek because we're limited to what we can release compared to what the creek's spawn. So it's going to help a lot down the road if we ever grow and stuff like that. So saying that, the pump hasn't been touched in over 20 years. That feeds the irrigation rig, and I wanted to get it in, running good. I feel like this is a huge investment. So I have a quote in front of you guys from Peerless Midwest. We're gonna go through the motor, all the windings, all the shafts, bearings, new bowl shaft, inlet basket, and then when they have it done, they'll bring it back here and then do field testing on it. Total pump rebuild and motor rebuild is $11,780, and then their crew for pulling and installing and testing is another $4,890, which is a grand total of $16,670.
And what was your quote on a new one?
The new one's close to $50,000.
And how are we on for budget for that?
We're fine with that in the wastewater budget. I mean, and then just, for Steve has looked at several different things over the last couple of years, on ways to,
Improve the
In-
effluent.
yeah, and this last year, with the irrigation rig and things, it has just worked amazing. And, definitely would save the town millions of dollars if we had to end up building one of these facilities to take care of it. So I think this is just a drop in the bucket there
Well, it sounds
to
like it.
be
It's a
able
lot better
to
than trying to
irrigate it.
get a mechanical plant.
Or getting the fines for your
Yeah.
discharge.
Yeah,
I would make a motion that we again permit Steve to go ahead with this project on the pond pump and motor. At that amount to $16,670.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And one last thing. So after a little fiasco a few weeks ago.
Well, this one was kind of my push, I think.
Oh,
I'll
I
take
see.
the blame on this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one's. So after a little fiasco a couple weeks ago, we learned that our current dialer in the water plant, it's not up to our needs. So me and Jonah talked about getting a second dialer. I just happen to have another dialer at the old water plant that's 2 years old, 4 years old. So I got with Peerless. They're the ones that installed the current dialer and the cabinet where it's going to be installed into. They're going to take that old dialer and put it in the new water plant as a secondary. So with me having most of the material, all they're going to charge us is a little bit of material material and labor. That total is not to exceed $3,550.
So just so you understand, when the dialer that we had purchased did call Steve.
Yeah, I was aware of that.
So that's how we ended up on the discussion, and as he found out, it could take several hours for it to call back on the program that we had. So, I thought it would be a good idea to look into the second he was able to locate and have knowledge of these new parts and come forward with it. The other thing that I've requested is that I am also on that dialer also, just in case he's not around, or so I can start making phone calls if needed. Because ultimately, what should have, in a perfect world, we wish would have happened was that initial water loss would have called us before anybody
Yeah.
would have
That's what
recognized.
it's supposed to do.
So,
And this one I have at the other lift stations, so I'm really familiar with this one. I really like this one, and this is more programmable than the current one. So if I want to set an alarm at 1 minute, it'll call me within a minute. So
You making a motion on this one?
I requested it.
Okay, then I'll make a motion then that we accept the proposal from Steve and permit him to go forward with the wastewater treatment plant dialer system.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Urban Fire Department, Chad Step.
19 calls since last meeting.
You.
When I talked to you guys about the new Cascade system, I talked to John. It went through the first pass yesterday, and then it goes in front of somebody else Monday. The auditor told him the money should be ready to disperse by March.
That's pretty well what she had told me by the time it went through the commissioners and then I believe county council also.
Yeah. I think the commissioners passed it, council has to adopt it or vice versa. The total was $6,295.77. We get $50,000 from the county. So that would bring it down to $10,295.77. Township agreed to pay half of that, so that would be a remaining of $5,147.88. I got brochures if you wanna look at it. And I got the quote here.
So how do you want to go about this, Chad? Do you want us to review it and vote on it tonight, or do you want to wait until we know that the money's ready to go in March?
I
and
was
vote on
told
it in
it's not gonna be an issue, it's just a fact of it being ready in March, so I would like to go for the approval tonight, that way I can start getting things lined up. I'll wait till, once I find out Monday that it passes the second hearing, and then next Monday I'll start scheduling
And how old's your oldest one,
1983.
or your other one?
So our old bottles are 2500s, our new bottles are 4500s. This compressor we have now maxes out at 5,000, and it takes us forever to fill one bottle.
And what violations could this one have compared to the new one?
We're supposed to have fresh air intake, this one don't have, and a carbon monoxide detector, which this one does not have.
But
You
the new
definitely
one-
don't want to be putting in the box.
No, which the new one will have.
We breathe that air.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
I'll make a motion to approve half of this, once the county, half of the $10,295.77, with the other half being paid for by the township, once the county approves their generous donation.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
That it?
Yep.
Susie?
You have my report, last evening, I've kind of already talked to Jonah about this, so it'd just be nice for Terry to know also. We've been having a couple issues as far as like our members. I know they're on a volunteer basis, but I was kind of thinking that maybe we should, or I should, or you guys, somebody, figure out a way, like if we can have, I have several people that are only coming once or twice a year, which makes public hearings bad because the plan commission we didn't have a quorum, so we didn't have the meeting, and you know, everything was taking place and the person that was here, which Mr. Bontrager, it's very disappointing to them because it puts them off and it's, but it is, I mean, I can't change it and I don't know if I should speak with these people or if we talk about maybe finding replacements. I mean, I understand that people can't come every single time. I mean, none of us come to every single meeting. But if they've missed 2 or 3 in a row, maybe consider finding some kind of replacement. Life does happen and I understand that. But it's important because I reach out to the entire committee a couple, 2 or 3 times before then, just asking to be sure that we are having a public hearing. I need at least 4 of you to definitely say you're coming. And so that was an issue yesterday. And it's not the first time. So I just would like your thoughts or suggestions.
So I reached out to both members today and Tony for suggestions.
Okay.
That being said, you know, I kind of give you a heads up on what it is. What's your input on the situation? Do we look at replacements? Do we look at put too many people on the board just in case? I mean,
How many
can we do
members
that?
do you have on your plan commission right now?
7. We have 7 on the plan and 7 on BZA.
Okay.
It's what the state
I mean,
guidelines.
are we allowed to go more than that, or are we not allowed to go more than that?
I'm not sure there's a restriction. I mean, I know Greenland has 9. I think Kansas is pretty large. I think concern I have for smaller towns is there's only so many people.
Right.
And you don't want to make it so big that you can't ever keep it full. I think what Susie is proposing, that maybe have some conversations with folks, because you guys do yours on a regular set
Yes,
night. So
absolutely.
you may need to review with the membership, is that night problematic for some reason? Is it because there's always people basketball games that night or something like that? So you could certainly kind of do that kind of a survey where, hey, what are the best days of the week? What are the best times of the week for everybody? You know, just see if you're meeting at the best possible time, because sometimes those sorts of things do shift. It may just be someone's got something coming up during the stage of life. You know, sometimes we've had situations where family members, someone falls ill and they're just not able to keep up with the spot anymore, and we give them an opportunity to step down and put somebody in that hopefully is a little bit more available. So,
What do you know, we talked about, or you can reply to the email, you know, what's the best practice for this? Should we have another meeting between now and March, or should we, I mean, legally, can we? Or do we need to wait till March to?
and I think part of your problem is getting the notices out at this point. So yeah, I'll take a look at the meeting and see what actually happened and talk about if that situation happens again. Like, I think it's better to reset the meeting, because I don't think you necessarily have to provide the same notice.
Okay.
In this setting where you just didn't have any meeting at all, didn't set another date, I think you probably have to provide another notice. So we need enough time to make sure those notices go out.
Okay.
So you're probably looking at your March meeting, to be honest.
All right. I just, moving forward, I want would like to have some direction
Yeah.
on how to handle it so that they can continue to move forward however they need to.
Sure.
Anything else?
No.
I think before, you know, you heard what he said. I think before we move in anywhere, I mean, obviously we need to have those conversations, but let's wait to see the response to the email on that, and give him an opportunity to make sure that we don't have a number limit that we have to stay within guidelines, because I mean, if we have availability to put 1 or 2 more people on the board, that might not be a bad idea either. So
The thing about it is, though, you also need to look at how your board, like what the requirements for each position are, to make sure you have someone that you can find. Because once you start getting into, that should be a body that has the political appointments. Sometimes you struggle finding somebody who's available, lives in town, a member of the right party. It can be more of a headache. So I usually say, make sure you've got some replacements in mind before you start letting people go.
right. Attorney?
Susan and I worked a lot on, overhauling that, ordinance that you already approved on shipping containers. It was in pretty good shape. There was a few things. There was one thing I did want to point out. There had been some discussion at the first meeting about some kind of clause, to kind of leave alone any pre-existing containers. Your zoning ordinance has, a non-conforming use clause or section in it. And so we took that language out because the overall zoning ordinance had something to address that. So I think that
Good.
Thank you. Patrons' comments.
I have one.
Name,
Dina Wattenberger,
address, please.
309 Arnold Street. This is a picture of our leaf mess that we have at our house. Tim's seen it, Jonah's seen it. I don't know if Mike's seen our house. Pile of leaves in our house. Okay, so on January 29th, the snowplow came down and hit our pile of leaves. And now they're in our yard all over. And it's a mess. And I guess I would like to know if the street department could bring their loader tractor down and rake them up for us and take them to the dump for us. Because I really don't want them there until April when they start picking up leaves. We pay to have our yard fertilized. We pay hundreds of dollars and it's just killing our grass. Larry and I already took 2 loads down in December when we had a couple 40-degree days and it was all we could do to load up his truck twice with another pile of leaves that we had on the other side of our driveway. And I told him then, I said, we cannot do that other side. I can't do it. And then when the snowplow come down and just spread them all over, and now that's all I see when I look out my kitchen window is that pile of leaves. And I don't want them laying there until like April when they start picking up leaves again.
Is this in your yard or in the town easement?
In the what?
Town easement.
I think it's in the town easement, but that's beside the point. They're all over. They're killing the grass there. We take care of that grass. We have it fertilized every year. We try to keep our yard looking so nice, and it's already killed over on the other side. Because in December you could tell the grass was dying. And I just don't want them laying there until April or whenever Terry starts picking leaves up again. And we can't do it.
Personally, I think part of the issue was because we had the snow that came in
Those
so
leaves were
early.
laying out there for over 9 days before the snow came.
Well, I get that, Dina. My mother-in-law's got a pile of leaves at her
Well,
place
Bob,
too.
there's six or seven houses on Arnold Street that have piles of leaves.
I get that.
And our neighbors even took their leaves to the dump, but,
Roger,
and I wouldn't have a big concern now, but they're just all spread all over now since they got hit.
how many times did you do Arnold Street this year?
About once a week till they came down real hard, and then it was about,
How many times did you do Clay Street because the neighbors leaves laid in my driveway? It seemed like that was the last pickup,
yeah, that was the last pickup.
which
before
was
this-
one time.
One time,
So you were that busy.
they were that busy, correct?
I don't know how you do one and not do everybody.
Well, not everybody's is all over the yard like ours is, Terry. Ours are scattered all over now. If they were in a big pile still, I would be all right with it.
Mhm.
But they're all over.
Well, I know there's others that are too, Dina. I'm not singling you out, don't get me. But there are other properties in town where they're laid up in the grass as well.
Part of the problem.
And you can't help when you're plowing
Yeah, but
snow.
were they hit by the snowplow?
Part of the problem is we had to have somewhere for the snow to go, and it drifts pretty good down through there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I suppose put stakes out in the yard if it's that concerned to getting that close to the ground, to your yard.
Well, I hope it never happens again. I hope our leaves get picked up in the fall.
Should we put cameras in the trucks and only pick up properties one time a year then?
That would be up to you guys. I'll do whatever you want to do. I mean, that's,
Or do we hire somebody else to help with leaves? I mean, this year wasn't the best. I mean,
No.
hopefully it never happens again.
But you brought up something that I guess I encountered this when I was in Plymouth as well. There is a right of way of the town that's not the property owners to say with what happens. I mean, shoot, they peeled sod up on people's yard. It can't be helped.
we've done plenty of that also.
Yeah.
Because the ground's not froze.
How much leaves are out there, honestly, Dina? Is it a one loader or is it, I mean, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to understand. I see a
It
picture.
probably is the John Deere loader tractor, it's probably gonna fill it up,
The day
at least.
the day I called you, you took out how many loads off of Main Street that day?
We'd taken like 4 or 5, at least 3 loads of pretty good loads off.
That
the
was
main
it
street. That was right before
before Thanksgiving.
That was right before we ended, and we went actually a week after that, and we were still trying to get to that area, and then the snow hit. You know, before the fall came down, we were going around at least twice a week in some places. You know, that everybody's
And
expecting
At
us
one
twice.
point, they just all dumped.
Exactly, that's what the problem was.
Because
And we were,
was that the wind?
some of it was the wind, and some of it was the heavy rain we had.
Yep. Just peeled them.
We were also trying to get done, and when they all hit, we were in South Town, and we had to start it all back all over again. So, you know, it was people.
Yeah, because you hit mine like the last day. It
Right.
had been sitting there for over a month.
Exactly, yeah.
In fact, I don't think you had done any of it, and there weren't even my leaves.
We still have South Main to do yet too. I mean, that's where we're gonna start when we start, so.
Like I say, if the pile leaves were like they were in the fall, just alongside, I wouldn't be here tonight. But they're all over, they're heavy and wet, and we can't pick them up. We can't take them to the dump. And I sure hate to wait until April or whenever they start picking up leaves to get rid of them.
Dina, I mean, and I'm trying to be very tactful about this. I'm not trying to be smart like this. You and Larry were involved with the town for how many years?
Over 20.
Yeah. Have you ever come across this situation before? I mean, do you have any suggestions that way we can't allow this to happen or keep this from happening
Well, I'm
again?
just saying, I hope it doesn't happen again. I hope the leaves get picked up in the fall and we don't have a early snow and all
I know, but I'm sure in the 20 years you've had those situations. So, you know, how did we make sure that we took care of every person in the community during those situations? I mean, 20 years, I mean, that would have been into the 80s, probably 90s.
I don't know.
It happened numerous times.
So I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, it's the law of nature sometimes, and you know, how do we go about not, you know, creating bigger issues down the road? I guess is my biggest concern. Do we have?
Well, we've lived here a long, long time, and I think the town could come down and pick our leaves up that they actually spread all over our yard this winter.
I guess the only other option then in the future is not plow into the Arnold Street that far. You don't have to worry about hitting the leaves.
Well, they came down there that day because supposedly they were pushing the snow back because for the next snowfall, which we never even got until just lately.
Which we don't know that. I mean, to be honest, I'd be pushing slush off the road right now if it was me. I mean, you got the heated roads. It's warmer out. I mean, maybe we just don't push Arnold Street back very far.
Maybe you just make one pass
That's fine.
down the middle.
There's hardly any traffic there anyway.
You know, then you got the possibility of a fire truck moving down through there. 2 trucks down through there that pass them.
Ambulance.
Yeah, that's the reason to widen the roads and somewhere for the snow to go.
And Mr. Huss.
Yeah.
I think you're going about it the wrong way. I think you're saying what if.
Well,
I'm here to say, would the town come down with the loader tractor and pick up our leaves
that are spread all over right now and take them to the dump for us. And if they don't, they don't.
What are the options if we make sure that Roger's on priority as soon as that he can do leaves? When he starts it, that's the first project that he does.
That's in April.
No, it's not gonna be in April this year, it's gonna be early.
When is it?
We'll start about the 9th of March.
When the weather breaks, I'm
When the
certain
weather
that,
breaks, yes.
Well, if it's the 1st of March, I can put up with it, but if it's after that,
Well, it'll be about, we'll probably wind up doing it from the 9th to the 20th before spring break.
So
the
let me,
what?
From the 9th to the 20th,
The 20th?
2 weeks.
The 20th of March?
Yeah.
That's almost April.
That's 4 weeks.
You said
Oh, starting the 9th.
Starting the 9th,
Okay.
but you have to understand, there's no guarantee what the
guarantee.
weather's gonna be.
exactly.
I mean, we've had,
Well, we got
I've
50
worked in
degree
this town long
weather
enough.
coming next week, I'll be gone. All the snow will be gone,
Oh,
hopefully,
what are we going?
Comes a big one.
Snow.
the snow.
I don't know if there's a resolution for it. Roger's doing what he can do, as he can do it. It's unfortunate that they got pushed back into yard, and I get that completely. But I've been around town enough to see already that there's sod peeled back in people's yards that we're probably gonna hear about.
Well, we always have a mess in the land that we own on the west side of our house, where
Turnaround is.
the turnaround is. We own that. We own half of that.
I'm aware of that.
That's not a right of way. We
I'm aware of
own that. And when the town comes down to plow that with the snow, we always have to go out there because they get dirt and everything else, and we have to clean it all out. We do that every year. So I'm used to that,
Okay,
but I'm not used to that ugly mess of leaves that we have in our yard right now.
well, I don't know if there's an answer for that. I just know Roger can do what he can do when he can do it.
So he can't take a few minutes out and come down and get our leaves.
How
In the
do
next
you,
couple weeks.
how would you explain that to Mrs. Smith over here?
I'll
who
show her
has
the
this-
picture of our leaves and what it looked like.
Well, what
And
about,
she'll say, I can't believe I wouldn't put up
if
with that
if
either.
her leaves are like that,
They're not like that.
have you been all the way around town?
No, not around town.
That's my point. Is if you go over here in this part of town and see somebody's leaves
Have
piled
you?
up.
Have you
I've
been
been
around
around
town?
town. I've seen sod peeled back too, because I know we're gonna hear about it. And that can't be helped.
Okay, whatever. I got my answer.
I think that if Roger can get to it, Dina, when the weather breaks, that he can be able to do that, I think he will be very forthgoing in getting that done.
That's all I have.
Anybody else? Council comments?
I have none.
Kim? Any comments?
Well, yes, I do have a comment. Maybe you were going to say this too, but as of tomorrow, Roger will have worked for the town for 35 years.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
As you know, it's not always a pleasant day.
Oh, I know.
I greatly appreciate
Thank you.
everything you do.
I wanna say you do it also.
Yes, you do.
I wanna know what that.
You do.
Yeah, thank you,
I'm not gonna say any more until it's shown.
Congratulations, Roger.
thank you.
I'm making a motion to adjourn this meeting. Or did you have something?
Only thing I was gonna say is maybe we need in the future to look at cameras and look at specifications. That way we know who we've touched when we've touched, and that's the end of the season. If you would think about that, maybe we'll touch on it next month.